I just need money and vibes, don't need none of that toxic shit. My social battery gone, I gotta stay out the mix. I'm tryna be so rich, I put that out in lit. Call you and say where you at, already know what time it is. Walked away and I turned my back. So many man get scarred for life, so when I'm outside, don't know, I don't lie. Ain't gonna lie, I watched the dime, but I hit them hoes too, though I admit. Me and this bread get along too well when I'm putting this fit, I feel like him. You want my attention bad, but I ain't the guy that I was before. I heard them stories about you, there's no way I'm hitting it raw. You don't wanna get misled, you wanna feel secure. Can't even lie, you're cool when you wanted to fuck, though I weren't too sure. I just need money and vibes, don't need none of that toxic shit. My social battery gone, I gotta stay out the mix. I'm tryna be so rich, I put that out in lit. Call you and say where you at, already know what time it is. I don't wanna be in the mix, I'd rather grind and stay on the low. Half these man got a lot to post, but ain't got nothing to show. Them gal doing the most, but you ain't gotta do too much. Nah. When I'm on the block, I be feeling loved. So many people around me, but I went through shit alone. Who do you call when I don't pick up the phone? When I'm away, who's gonna take you home? She said men ain't shit.
Back. So we got that session wrapped up. Tough, long session that was. Even though I was only using one arm for the majority of it, it still took time. Because I've done a bit of legs at the end because I'm doing the bike tomorrow. So I don't want to do legs on top of the bike as well. So done some legs there as well, just kind of spotting them out throughout the week. Not doing one heavy leg day because I'm limited with the shoulder, obviously, to do compounds, etc. So doing some high volume work spotted throughout the week. In terms of upper body then, I'm hitting that pretty frequently. As I said in stories, I'm doing that around three to four times per week. And then in each of them sessions, just touching on 1 to 2 lower body parts as well. So that's really working well for me at the minute in terms of a split and that I'm working off. But the shoulder, it has progressed really well, which I'm delighted with. Like I can, obviously, as you see in the video, I can get a little bit of a bicep curl and I can get some lateral raise as well, which is really good. So really positive with that. And over last week, it has improved a lot. And I think it's been good for the mindset, to be honest, just like focusing in on them small details. Like, as I talked about last week, looking at them 1%ers, what can I do? And they do pay off. Like, you know, even I'm only a week and a half on, like I can feel the progress coming in just by them small actions, looking after nutrition, sleep, doing the little bit of mobility and training. Like, you can think that these things are neutral, but they're not. Like, everything that you do is either contributing positively or negatively to your progress. So I always look at everything that we're doing is a decision. You either have the decision to move one step forward or closer to the person that you want to become, or you have this choice to take one step back and move further away from the person that you want to become. So every time you have the decision to make, just think about that. Think about that future version of yourself. And like for myself, everything that I'm doing now, I'm thinking, right, how can I take that one step closer to that person that I want to become, who's back healthy, who's recovered from this injury and even in a better position. So that is just front of mind for myself, and hopefully that's maybe a little framework for you to think about. But yeah, got some good news on it. The dislocation will heal up by itself, so I don't need to get surgery, thank God. So hopefully the timeline mightn't be as bad as I actually thought it will be, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, because it's healing well and it's progressing well. So I'm just going to keep on top of that and see how it goes. It will be week to week basis, seeing how the range of motion is. The frontal raise is really fucking triggered, so it does, but we'll see. Hopefully that eases now over next week's. But yeah, that's a quick update. Let's get showered and get on with the day. I do have a package downstairs and I want to fill you in on a bit of value at the end to make sure that you know how to structure your sessions. So yeah, I'll catch up with you soon. New chrono jump. This is essentially portable force plates. I'm trying to figure out how can I open this best. Essentially they are portable force plates that we can bring to our testing sessions with athletes and test all kinds of different things. So we can test power outputs, reactivity, stiffness, loads of different features that we can track with our athletes that we're working with. So the most important thing for us is just going to be getting more data for them athletes, so then we can tangibly see the improvements and see, are they making progress, are they getting faster, are they getting more explosive and whatnot. So that is the main goal. But I'm very excited with this. Nice. Oh man.
2 hours later.
Eventually, this is what they look like. Nice. So we have this, such, and they will connect to the laptop. So very excited to get and use these. They're going to be serious level up for the boys in the academy and any of the teams we work with. Just eventually, like, I suppose, or ultimately for athletes and for people who really want to reach high performance, you need data. You need to look at, right, are we seeing improvements week to week in terms of all the characteristics that you're trying to measure. So whenever you're looking at athletes who are playing team-based sports like GAA, soccer, rugby, they all need to be explosive, they need to be strong, they need to be robust, they need to be fast. All of these things need to be measured in some way, so then you can quantify whether people are actually making improvements or not. So this bad boy here is just another addition to it and will help us do that for our athletes. So yeah, very excited to get using these on with the video. So as the title would suggest, the main topic of this video, what I want to cover is how you can actually design your own training session as an athlete. And I want to just break this down because so many athletes get this wrong. They structure their session wrong, and then that means that their actual gains made in the session gets compromised. So the way I like to do this is break it down into 5 to 6 components, okay? So the first component is going to be of your session is going to be your prehab and your activation. So your prehab will be looking at your maybe previous and current injuries that you've had and using specific exercises to help prehab or rehab them muscle groups and them areas that maybe you've had weaknesses before that you need to tidy up deficiencies or just improve the range of motion in them. So that is usually 1 to 2 of the exercises in the prehab, and then I will also include 1 to 2 exercises of activation, and these should be primed, or these should be used to prime the muscles that's going to be working in the session. So there's no point in you doing band pull aparts for your upper body whenever you're actually training your lower body. So you need to specifically target the muscles that you're going to be using in that session and activate them through specific exercises that you have programmed for you, okay? So obviously I can't give you exercises for your specific needs in that, but I think it's important to have this little dedicated section at the start of your session, just a little bit of a chance to tidy up old deficiencies and injuries and maybe current ones and get on top of them, but also then prime you for going into the session and leave you feeling good. The second part of your workout should be your more dynamic, your power, your explosive exercises, okay? And you want to put these first because you need to be most fresh for them. It's like your sprint work during the week. You need to be most fresh for them because you need to compete at 100% intensity in each rep. To get the benefits of power, you're going to want to lift between 30 to 60% of your 1 rep max, but each rep needs to be with max intent. So generally this would be like 1 to 2 exercises for me. It won't fatigue you because you're only going to be lifting for like say 1 to 3 reps, and give yourself plenty of rest. Like you should be going back into each set with a full tank of gas. You don't want to be going back in huffing and puffing and realizing that you aren't actually able to give that output that you want, because you're actually fatigued from the last set. So give yourself plenty of rest, up on the 2-minute mark for each set. But again, you're putting these early on in the session. Your power stuff needs to be early on in the session because you need to be most fresh for it. And if you put that at the end of the session, you're not actually training power. You're going to be training endurance. You're going to be fatiguing yourself even more. So that is why that is early on the session. Okay, so we have prehab and activation, and then we have our power, dynamic, explosive work. Okay, the next section that we have is going to be our strength work, our main compound lifts. Okay, so these are our main lifts of the day. For your upper body, these can be your bench press, your chin-ups. Lower body, these can be your squats or your deadlifts. These are just examples, but you get the gist. They're going to be 1 to 2 lifts, and these will be very, very taxing on your central nervous system. They'll be just taxing in general. You'll be quite fatigued after them. So you need to do these early on the session again, because if you do them at the end, you're going to be massively compromised, and these are going to be usually complex movements. So if you are fatigued from earlier exercises, then the actual injury risk of you performing the exercises at the end of the session will go up significantly. So you want to do them when you're most fresh as well. Your power work beforehand will just prime you for them main lifts, so it won't compromise them in any way. It will actually add to them. It will actually help you produce more force and lift heavier in that. So this feeds on lovely. This is why there's a nice structure to it. We have our prehab and activation. We have our power, dynamic work. And then we have our main lifts of the day. Again, 1 to 2 exercises for around 4 to 6 reps at around 85% plus of your 1 rep max. So then after your main lift, you're going to have your main assistance lift. Okay, so these are going to be your exercises that's going to supplement the main lift. They're also going to be complex movements, but not as demanding as your holy grail lift of the day, your squat, your bench, whatever it is. As we progress by the set or throughout the session, your fatigue is going up. So the more fatigued you are, obviously the more complex movements are going to cause a bit more of an injury risk there for you, or provoke a bit more of an injury risk for you. So as the session progresses, the exercise complexity should go down. Your last one then, what I would look at is your accessory exercises. And again, these are going to be quite similar to maybe your prehab exercise in the sense that they're going to look at tidying up any specific weaknesses that you want to tidy up. So these will be generally more in the hypertrophy range again, so you can push on with the rep range of them because they're going to be quite low complexity. They're going to be easy to perform. Maybe they're machine based. Maybe they're like your leg extensions, your leg curls, which are really good exercises there to help in that. That they're easy to perform. They're not going to be as demanding as, let's say, a squat or a bench. But again, they're going to target specific muscle groups, okay? So with all this then, you have your prehab, your activation, you have your power and dynamic work, you have your main lift, you have your main assistance lift, and then you have your accessory lifts. But that is a rough structure of how I would work my sessions. Again, the most important thing is that you're looking at order of priority. So your power work at the start of your session is going to be really, really important because you need to be most fresh for them. And then similarly with your main compound lifts, you need to be fresh for them to get the actual benefits out of them. Whereas later on the session, you can afford to be a little bit more fatigued than you were at the start of the session, because you're going to be doing higher reps. You're going to be able to push the volume anyway, and you're going to push through that fatigue. But with a higher complexity lift, such as a squat or a bench,
if you're really compromised through fatigue, then you're not going to be able to lift that for your dedicated 4 to 6 reps with high weight that you're actually progressing week on week. So that is how I would structure my sessions week to week. That is, if I was to take a session right now, that's how I would structure it out in terms of principles that I would use going down the way. Obviously, I gave a couple of exercise examples, but generally, you can plug and play these principles with different exercises that needs fit for yourself and your specific needs. But yeah, hopefully that helps. I'm after rambling on for around 10 minutes, but hopefully that helps. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one.